Number 10. Sakura Wars. Considering how many titles are there, all exclusive to Japan except for one, Sega decided that this one will be a reboot of some sorts. It's still a brand new story, but with returning characters like the main heroine Sakura. It plays very similar to So Long My Love on the Wii and the PS2, visual novel elements, but with a very interactive gameplay, full of minigames and decision making. However, it's no longer an area-based strategy RPG, this time it's a full action RPG with some small strategy elements. This new system works pretty well in my opinion, as the controls feel right on spot. Overall, it's a fantastic game and one of the best JRPGs of 2020. Number 9. Yakuza Like a Dragon. This game is what I consider to be the first true RPG in the series, especially now that its battle system is played in turns. It surprised a lot of people, as a matter of fact, considering all the previous titles were open world adventure games. They always reminded me of Grand Theft Auto and even Shenmue, but being their own unique thing at the same time. With this new entry being a turn-based RPG, some of us might start seeing the series with a new light. Number 8. Trials of Mana Remake. That's right, this one is a full remake of Seiken Densetsu 3. That one was an only in Japan game for a long time until its official English release in 2019 in Collection of Mana. Several months later, the world made its full 3D remake, and I gotta admit, it looks absolutely beautiful. It turned out to be a pretty solid one, considering Square Enix didn't throw a lot of money into its budget. Controls are fine, which makes the action quite decent, and overall its gameplay is pretty much alright. It remains true to the original, but giving the player more freedom during the action. This is a great game, and it's definitely one of the best JRPGs of 2020. Number 7. Ys Memories of Celceta. A full remaster of the original game on PC and the PS Vita. Honestly, I love the Vita version, but I gotta admit, it looked kinda blurry sometimes, so the visuals here look notoriously improved. The action feels somewhat better, as if it was polished for a better experience. I mean, if the game is so fast-paced and the action can get pretty chaotic sometimes, the less frame drops the better. An early adventure with adult Christian and new friends in the land of Celceta awaits the player, all to recover his lost memories and to unfold the mysteries of the continent. Number 6. Persona 5 Royal. At first we thought it was going to be simply a re-release with an extra character, but lo and behold there were 2 of them and huge alterations to the story. So all the extra new content made it worth revisiting this masterpiece on the PS4. Of course, the spotlight was the new party member Kazumi, who came along to change the context of the overall plot. In other words, this is basically the definitive version to play of Persona 5, one of the best JRPG releases of the year 2020. Number 5. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. The Switch version is much more than a simple remaster. Because of the character design change and the graphics look somewhat different, it's accurate to say this is actually a remake. Plus, it includes an extra episode, which is pretty much a long direct sequel. It's as if you were getting 2 games in one, as a matter of fact. Anyway, there's no reason to cover this popular game, as everyone is quite familiar with it already. Remake or not, it's definitely one of the best releases in the year 2020. Number 4. Final Fantasy VII Remake. No other remake in existence has been as anxiously awaited as this one. It took Square Enix almost a decade to deliver what they initially promised. Unfortunately, it's only part 1 of the classic game that was the PlayStation release, which makes it all the more massive, as it is a full reimagining of it, with tons of changes and extra content. And those changes include what you already know, the battle system now being action. In my opinion, it was very well done. A great remake indeed, absolutely one of the best of 2020. Number 3. Land Greaser 1 and 2. This duology came as a complete surprise this year, initially announced in 2019. It's a full remake of the original 2 games on the Sega Genesis, although this will be the very first time for us getting an official English release of the second game. It's a direct sequel of the first one, but taking place 1,000 years later. These games are known for having multiple routes and therefore multiple endings, all unlocked depending on the decisions you make in them. And this remake gives you the option of going back into the timeline to play them all if you want to. They also give you the original art style or the new one, just like with the music. 2 incredibly addictive RPGs in one small collection for those tactical lovers like myself. 2020 sure was a great year thanks to these kinds of releases. Number 2. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Another hugely unexpected surprise was Vanillaware's most recent experiment. It turned the world upside down, leaving their classic 2D action behind for a real-time strategy RPG. One where battles take place in overview maps, with enemies coming at you from every direction. A turn-based system that swallows you whole into immersive combat. And let's not forget its overly beautiful 2.5D style, with quite the complexity in storytelling, but with a plot that is honestly just as addictive as its excellent battle mechanics, especially since it's told through 13 characters, each with their own different points of view. Not the best JRPG of 2020, but definitely by far the most unique and original of them all. Number 1. The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 4. It wraps things up with a drastic all-out war in the continent of Cimmeria with Rien Schwarzer at its core. It took everything from its 3 previous episodes to convert it into gold. Still with its excellent turn-based battle system, including the combos, the skill attacks, the great magics and the famous S-crafts to wreak havoc in the battlefield. Last but definitely not least, its extremely well-polished story which grounds the character progression uniquely. A large cast from all entries in this long-running series helps the building of one of the most incredible and outstanding RPGs ever made. And of course, the best of the year 2020. Let's find out what 2021 has in store from now on. See you next time!
You never see